Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report, presented by 5v5hockey.com.
Yo, welcome back to the Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report. Today we're going to be talking about the Red Wings draft, a little bit of a move that they made too. The Red Wings drafted 11 prospects yesterday. If we hit on 4 of those, that would be amazing. Now, they've had a bunch of draft picks the last few years where it's, 7 rounds, right? Where they've had 10 picks, 11 picks. Hopefully some of these guys hit. Now, the top guys, Nate Danielson, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, we talked about a little bit yesterday. Picked up a guy like Trey Augustine, who's going to play at Michigan State University. He's a goaltender, and he was a very, very highly rated one at that. Played for the U.S. development team. He's going to be playing, like I said, for MSU. And right in our backyard. And he's another goalie that's going to challenge Sebastian Cossa. We have another goalie in the pipeline that is actually worth something, because for a long, long time, we really haven't had that. We've had Sebastian Cossa, and that's it. Going back to the days of Jimmy Howard, Philip Larson never really panned out. That's a blast from the past for you. Going through some of the other guys, I don't know if it's going to be really that useful for us, because I've said before, I don't know these players. And I don't think really any of you guys do either. I don't really know who Brady Cleveland is. I don't know who Andrew Gibson is. All I know is they're defensemen, and we desperately need defensemen. The Red Wings picked like 6 of them yesterday, so I'm totally okay with that. The more defensemen you have, I'm all for it. Hopefully, a lot of these guys just take a few years, hone their craft, eventually get into the system. We go from there, just like anybody, just like any prospect that we have. If they're a top pick or not, sometimes they'll be an Elmer Soderblom and they'll pan out, and sometimes they'll be a Philip Larson and they just won't. The interesting thing is the trade that the Red Wings made with the Edmonton Oilers. Future considerations. We're going to put his jersey up in the rafters at LCA. He was a great player for us, but now he's with the Oilers. The Red Wings received Kyler Yamamoto and the RFA rights to Klim Kostin. This was a trade that, when I heard of it, I was like, okay, what's the angle here? Because they're getting 2 players basically for free. Not sure where they fit. I thought Kyler Yamamoto would be the principal part of the deal, because he's young, he's 24, he had a 20-goal season 2 seasons ago, struggled this year staying healthy, and the Oilers have been trying to move his contract for a while now. It's something that I thought maybe it's kind of a reclamation project, fits our core, that for that age group, and maybe it's someone that can get a middle 6 role. I mean, that's someone that I would like to see. He's a playmaker, he's got some good hands, and he can still grow into it. Maybe just needs a change of scenery. I didn't even really consider Klim Kostin, just because I thought, well, maybe he's going to sign back in the KHL, which was the rumor. He was going to go back to Avangard Omsk. I think I had it backwards, because some people, a couple of my buddies, are going, Buschy, I don't understand this trade. What the hell is going on? Well, on Edmonton's side, they didn't have to buy out Kyler Yamamoto. They saved $3.1 million in cap space. Yamamoto had another year left on his contract. He's gone now. The Red Wings bought him out. So if that adds a layer of what are we doing, I understand it. I'm definitely going to explain it to everybody in the simplest terms possible. Steve Yzerman, my opinion, and then just how this is going, really likes Klim Kostin as a player. Getting his restricted free agent rights means that the Red Wings control where he's going. The Red Wings are the only team that Kostin can sign with outside of the NHL. He can go into the KHL if he wanted, but there's a rumor today saying that Omsk actually withdrew from bidding because they know they're not going to be able to match the Red Wings offer. And maybe that was something with Ken Holland and the Oilers, our old friend Kenny Holland. I don't think they can afford to pay Klim Kostin what he's worth. He had 11 goals and 10 assists last year, playing in the bottom 6 for the Oilers. And I'll tell you, watching some of the games, if you watch some of the highlights, he's a big body, he throws his weight around. There might be some untapped offensive ability there to play in the middle 6, but probably this year on the bottom 6, replacing a guy like Pius Suter, who's probably leaving in free agency. And he fits the age as well. I think he's 24, 25 too. So he might get a 2-year deal, maybe a couple million, probably 1.5, more than the Oilers or more than Omsk can actually offer him. So I'm excited to see what Kostin brings to the table. It's nice to get a guy basically for free. We didn't give up anything before free agency. We already filled one of those roster spots. Might not have to look too far to find that bottom 6 guy. I think Kostin is an interesting ad. Yamamoto, I don't think this trade was about him. Like I said, I think this was a Kostin trade. I think Kyler Yamamoto was the price. I think it's a win-win for these teams because the Oilers obviously weren't going to re-sign Klim Kostin because they were willing to let him go to Detroit. And they wanted to get rid of Kyler Yamamoto so bad that they said, see you later. Now, things have changed with Kostin because now if you get traded and you're like, wait a minute, Detroit, oh, okay, maybe I'll get an opportunity there instead of going back to Russia. This is my last shot to kind of go for it. He's probably going to sign with the Wings. For Yamamoto, people were saying, well, you know, the cap hit 3.1, like Detroit's $35 million under the cap. I understand that. I don't think it's a cap thing. I think this is actually a roster space move. I don't know if Steve Yzerman really saw Kyler Yamamoto as a piece that was going to be here going forward. Obviously, being bought out, he was the price to get Kostin. I don't think that he wants to gum up one of those middle six spots for maybe a guy like Jonathan Berggren to have more of an opportunity, or Elmer Soderblom, Philip Zadina, Joe Veleno, Michael Rasmussen, all these young guys coming up, even maybe eventually like a Carter Mazer or Nate Danielson, Marco Kasper. There's so many prospects and forwards coming up. I don't know if Kyler Yamamoto is a guy that Yzerman really wanted to be, you know, on the team and just kind of like having a spot to just hold it. I think we're out of that spot. If you guys remember, in the last 4 or 5 years, we have been signing and trading for players that have just been like filling the gaps. You know, the Mark Stahls of the world, and signing a guy for a year and just, okay, he's here, now he's gone. Oh, remember Patrick Nemeth? Like, I mean, I do, but like, that's somebody that's just been here. He's gone now. He's not part of the future. He's just going to be here for a second until we get the next guys. Listen, the next guys are coming. We talked about it in the video yesterday about how, you know, a lot of Yzerman's picks are starting to, you know, show that they're going to make the show eventually. Not just the top guys, but the second round picks, the third round picks. I don't think you want Yamamoto taking up one of those guys' spots for maybe somebody that can do the exact same thing. Like, would you rather have Jonathan Berggren on the second or third line, or would you rather have Kyler Yamamoto? Because for me, it's Jonathan Berggren all day. Kyler Yamamoto will also be going up into the rafters at Little Caesars Arena, right next to future considerations. Keep it tuned on the Healthy Scratch Red Wings Report and the Buschy and Bobo Show. Tomorrow, free agency starts. Hopefully we see some moves. Will it be DeBrincat? Will it be Konechny? Will we see some trades? Or are we just going to maybe work on the smaller rumors? Today we heard one about Alex Killorn. You know, maybe going to the Wings on a 2-year deal. Wouldn't mind that. It's again, but that's another one where it's kind of filling the hole until the next guys come up. So I think we're still in that mode. I know that's a little bit frustrating to hear for Red Wings fans. We want to let these young guys really develop and build something sustainable for the future rather than going out and blowing it all up to get, you know, 2 guys that may or may not work out. Look for our content tomorrow. We will not be live, but we will be watching TSN all day. Me and Bobo will be hanging out here at the studio, and we're going to be breaking down any Red Wings moves on the Red Wings Report, and anything else is going to be on the Buschy and Bobo Show. Find it on our YouTube channel. You can find everything there. And until the next time, go Red Wings, and hopefully we see some moves.